Have you ever been in a moment where everything seemed to click, great chemistry, deep eye contact, and then suddenly, nothing happens? She pulls away. She says she's not ready. And you're left wondering, what did I do wrong? Here's a perspective most men never hear. Women don't reject sex. They reject men who fail to generate desire. Core insight: the real issue isn't sex. Let's be precise. The problem isn't that she doesn't want intimacy. The problem is who she's being intimate with. Many men operate from the false belief that asking for sex or expressing desire somehow makes them less masculine. As a result, they suppress their intent, tiptoe around attraction, and try to earn affection by being overly polite, endlessly patient, or just nice. But here's what's actually happening behind the scenes. When a man hesitates, seeks permission, or emotionally depends on her reaction, he disappears in her eyes, not physically, but energetically. Women, just like men, experience desire. But their desire doesn't respond to logic. It reacts to energy, presence, and polarity. So no, she's not rejecting sex. She's rejecting the energy that doesn't provoke anything in her. In this video, we're going to break down the psychological dynamics behind female desire, and why most men misunderstand it entirely. We'll explore the invisible forces that drive attraction, how your mindset, body language, and energy speak louder than words, and why Stoicism, yes, the ancient philosophy of emotional mastery, is key to awakening desire without chasing it. We're not talking about pickup lines or manipulation. This is about becoming the kind of man who no longer asks for intimacy because he attracts it. So if you've ever felt like you were doing everything right and still being overlooked, ignored, or friend-zoned, stay with me. This might be the conversation you didn't know you needed. Part 1. The 6 Pillars of Attracting Female Desire. Let's talk about something most men never learned, but desperately need to. Attraction isn't about looks, status, or even saying the right things. It's about energy, and more specifically, how you manage and project your masculine presence. In this section, I'll break down the 6 core principles, or what I call the 6 pillars of female desire, that separate the invisible man from the unforgettable one. These aren't tricks. They're foundational traits that every woman responds to on a deep, often unconscious level. Small diamond 1. She doesn't want sex with weak men. This one stings, but it's critical. A woman doesn't reject sex. She rejects weak energy. Neediness, insecurity, and emotional dependence kill desire instantly. She may respect you, enjoy your company, but she won't crave you. Small diamond 2. Stop asking permission, lead or lose. Every time you ask, "Can I kiss you?" you're broadcasting doubt. Women don't want to guide you step by step like a child. They want to feel your clarity and confidence. Leadership isn't force, it's direction without hesitation. Small diamond 3. Female desire is silent, not logical. She might say she wants a kind, stable man, but then feel drawn to someone mysterious and bold. Why? Because desire isn't rational. It comes from the body, not the mind. Men who rely on logic in love often lose to those who understand emotion and tension. Small diamond 4. Your sexual energy speaks louder than words. You can say all the right things, but if your body communicates anxiety or desperation, that's all she hears. Real attraction begins with unspoken energy. How you carry yourself, how you look at her, how you own the room. Small diamond 5. The man who doesn't react excites her. Most men are emotionally reactive, constantly checking texts, overanalyzing every signal. But the man who remains centered, calm in her chaos, becomes rare, valuable, and desired. Because women don't want to lead, they want to feel led. Small diamond 6. Make her suggest it first, the psychological trick. This is subtle, but powerful. When a woman feels like she initiated the next step, her desire amplifies. You don't have to force anything. Just create the space, radiate presence, and let her step in. And when she does, it won't be a maybe. It'll be a yes rooted in deep emotional certainty. These 6 pillars aren't about pretending to be someone you're not. They're about rediscovering the part of you that's been muted by modern confusion about masculinity. Master these traits, and you won't need to chase attraction, it will start chasing you. Coming up next, we'll go deeper into Pillar 1. Why weakness kills attraction, and how to build the kind of inner strength that magnetizes female desire. Have you ever been in a moment where everything seemed to click, great chemistry? Deep eye contact, and then suddenly, nothing happens? She pulls away. She says she's not ready. And you're left wondering, what did I do wrong? Here's a perspective most men never hear. Women don't reject sex. They reject men who fail to generate desire. Part 2. Weakness repels, the magnetic power of true confidence. Let's clear something up that most men take far too personally. When a woman says, no, she's not rejecting sex, she's rejecting weak energy. This distinction changes everything. Rejection is rarely about the act itself. It's about the presence behind the act. And here's the truth. Women are not attracted to kindness alone. Being nice, polite, respectful, those are the minimum requirements for being a decent human. But desire? That comes from something deeper. Small diamond, nice guys, earn trust, not desire. We've been sold a lie. That if we're just nice enough, considerate enough, and wait patiently, eventually attraction will bloom. But what nice guys often radiate isn't strength, it's approval-seeking behavior. They don't inspire desire. They create comfort, predictability, and friendship. This isn't about being a jerk. It's about the energy behind your presence. Ask yourself, are you moving with self-assured direction? Or are you waiting for her to give you permission to feel worthy? Small diamond real masculine energy doesn't ask, it leads. Confidence isn't loud. It doesn't beg. It doesn't ask, can I kiss you? It looks her in the eyes, holds stillness, and lets silence do the work. Because real masculine energy knows it doesn't need to be approved, it only needs to be expressed. Think of a man walking into a room who doesn't try to impress anyone. He doesn't talk more, he listens more. He doesn't chase attention, yet somehow, he commands it. That's not arrogance, that's grounded presence. Small diamond when your body betrays you. Your words might say you're confident, but your body will always tell the truth. Your eyes dart, your shoulders tighten, your voice wavers slightly. These subtle cues tell her subconscious, this man doesn't trust himself. And when that happens, the switch flips, from potential partner to just a friend. Closing, Stoic insight plus next hook. The Stoics believed in mastering the self, not for praise, but for clarity and peace. In the same way, a man who is secure in his direction, who does not need validation, becomes naturally attractive, because he's not seeking her approval, he's offering his presence. And that is the energy that magnetizes her. Next, we'll break down how to cultivate this inner presence in everyday life. From posture to purpose, how to stop being nice and start becoming undeniable. Part 3. Don't ask. Lead. Reclaiming masculine energy. There's a moment in every romantic interaction where everything hangs in the balance. The energy is building, the silence deepens, and then, you say it. Can I kiss you? It sounds respectful, polite, even considerate. But here's the problem, it kills the moment. Because in that one question, You're not offering leadership, you're asking for permission. Small diamond. Why asking kills attraction. In male-female dynamics, especially in intimate moments, asking for permission signals one thing: uncertainty. And uncertainty is the enemy of desire. Let's be clear, this isn't about being aggressive or disrespectful. It's about understanding how attraction works at a subconscious level. Women don't respond to words. They respond to energy, to presence, to certainty without force. When you ask, "Can I kiss you?" what she hears beneath the surface is, "I don't trust myself. I'm not sure if I'm wanted. I need your approval to act." That hesitation collapses the polarity that desire is built on. Small diamond letting is not controlling, it's anchoring. Real leadership doesn't demand, it grounds. It says, "I know what I want. I respect your boundaries, but I'm not afraid to act." This is what Stoic men have always known. They don't chase moments. They own them, with stillness, with control, with presence. It's not about dominating, it's about creating a safe container where she can relax into her feminine energy because you're already stable in your masculine. She doesn't want to lead the dance. She wants to respond to your rhythm. Small diamond. The power of silent certainty. Have you ever been around someone who didn't say much, but you could feel their presence? That quiet confidence, the unshakable calm, it pulls people in. This is what women feel drawn to, because it speaks to something evolutionary: protection, direction, trust. So next time, instead of asking, observe, hold eye contact, let the silence speak, lean in when the moment feels right, not from a place of doubt, but from grounded certainty. If the energy is off, she'll let you know, but if it's right, you won't need to ask. Closing. Call to self-mastery. In Stoic philosophy, control begins within, and modern men who live by this code don't need external validation to move. They trust their sense. They lead with calm clarity. Not because they're entitled to anything, but because they've done the inner work to be clear on who they are. Lead the moment, not to take control of her, but to take responsibility for yourself. Part 4. Desire is silent. Attraction comes from energy, not logic. Let's get one thing straight. Desire is not a reward for good behavior. Just because you're kind, respectful, patient, or morally correct, doesn't mean she'll feel attracted to you. Think about it. How many times have you heard a guy say, "I did everything right, I listened to her, supported her, never pressured her, and yet she chose someone else"? Here's the harsh truth. Attraction doesn't follow logic. It responds to energy, not formulas. The emotional nature of female desire. Desire isn't something you can negotiate or earn through checklist behavior. Why? Because female attraction is emotional, intuitive, and largely subconscious. She may say she wants a nice, understanding man, but what she responds to is presence, tension, mystery. A man who doesn't try to explain himself, but feels grounded in who he is. This isn't about being manipulative. It's about recognizing that attraction operates outside the realm of reason. It's not about making sense. It's about making her feel something. The problem with predictability. Here's what kills desire: predictability. When you're overly available, overly nice, and always agreeable, you remove all mystery. You become emotionally flat. Safe, yes, but not exciting. And the masculine energy that triggers deep feminine desire thrives on contrast. Calm, but powerful. Silent, but aware. Unpredictable, not in a chaotic way, but in a way that says, "You can't fully figure me out yet." Conclusion. Learn the language of energy. You don't need to decode every word she says. You don't need to become a mind reader or master communicator. But you do need to understand how desire works. It's not about what you say. It's about how you make her feel without saying anything. So ask yourself, are you trying to win her through logic, or are you creating a space where energy and emotion can breathe? Because in the end, desire is silent, but it always speaks through your presence. But silence isn't just about being passive. It's about redirecting energy. Which leads us to the next truth. Part 5. Sexual energy speaks. Your body communicates before your words. Opening, what you don't say matters more than what you do. Here's a question most men never ask themselves. Before you speak, what is your body already saying? Because like it or not, your sexual energy speaks long before your words do. And in many cases, it's not what you say that gets you misunderstood or friend-zoned. It's the subtle, unspoken cues you're constantly broadcasting, without even realizing it. Modern men are taught to suppress their desire, to hide it, to be safe. And what happens? They become invisible. The miscommunication between words and energy. You can say all the right things, sound confident, act polite, but if your energy is anxious, apologetic, or unsure, that's what she responds to. That's what she feels. Your nervous system doesn't lie. This is why you can't fake confidence. Because your body, your posture, your breath, your eye contact will always betray your inner state. And when a man is uncomfortable with his own sexual energy, when he hides or represses it, he gives off a vibe that feels flat, disconnected, or even needy. And here's the paradox. The more you try to hide your desire, the less masculine you feel, and the more likely she'll see you as just a friend. From suppression to direction, the Stoic approach. So what's the solution? Not suppression. Not pretending you don't feel anything. That's not Stoicism. True Stoicism isn't about shutting down your feelings. It's about mastering them, directing them with clarity and intention. You don't need to act on every impulse, but you must acknowledge your impulses, own them, and decide how to move with awareness. This creates the kind of masculine presence that women instinctively respect and respond to. Conclusion. Let your energy speak with integrity. When you walk into a room, your energy is already introducing you. It's either grounded and intentional, or scattered and insecure. You can't lie with your body. So the real work? It's not about learning clever lines or tricks. It's about aligning your inner state with your outer presence. That's when your energy begins to speak with quiet power. That's when words become optional. Part 6. Non-reactivity attracts. The true power of staying centered. Opening. Why reactivity kills attraction. Let's be honest. When a man gets easily triggered, flustered, or thrown off by a woman's words or actions, he loses more than his cool. He loses respect. You might think being highly responsive shows that you care, that you're emotionally available, or attentive. But to her nervous system, it signals something else entirely. Lack of control. In reality, one of the most powerful traits a man can develop is emotional non-reactivity. Because in a chaotic world, and in the emotional swirl of dating, stillness is magnetic. Main insight, why stillness is attractive. Women don't consciously think, wow, he's so emotionally stable. But they feel it instantly. Let's look at it through the lens of psychology and evolutionary dynamics. When a man reacts emotionally to every shift in her mood or attention, he communicates that her behavior controls his state. That creates a dynamic where he chases, and she pulls away. On the other hand, a non-reactive man sends the opposite signal. I don't seek approval. I create my own emotional climate. This is not coldness. It's self-possession. And whether she realizes it or not, it makes her lean in. Because this kind of man is a challenge. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't beg. He doesn't need anything from her to feel whole. Conclusion. The Stoic frame. Calm is confidence. Think about this. What happens when she tests your boundaries? Or withdraws affection? Or tries to provoke a reaction? Most men collapse, panic, or overcompensate. But the man who stays centered, the man who remains grounded in his own sense of self-worth, that man radiates something rare in today's world: calm confidence. As the Stoics taught, control what you can, accept what you can't, and never let the external disturb your internal. So the mindset is simple. If she wants to be part of my life, she's welcome. If not, that's fine too. And ironically, when you truly believe that, that's when they chase you. Part 7. Make her suggest it. Let her feel like she chose you. Opening: why who initiates matters more than you think. Here's a subtle truth most men overlook. When a woman feels like she's the one choosing you, her desire doesn't just increase. It becomes real. You see, most guys still operate from this outdated mindset. When is the right time to ask her out? Should I make the first move? Or worse, how do I convince her? But all of that comes from a place of chasing, of seeking permission. And when you seek, you subconsciously place her above you in the power dynamic. What if I told you, the key isn't to push for anything? It's to create an environment so natural, so secure, so magnetic, that she brings it up. Main insight: how subtle power shapes desire. Let's break this down psychologically. Desire thrives on freedom, not pressure. When a woman feels like she has space to choose, her attraction becomes more emotionally charged, more invested, and more lasting. So instead of asking, when will this escalate? Ask yourself, am I creating a space that invites her to lean in? Here's how. Silence becomes a tool. You're not afraid of pauses, you let them simmer. Eye contact becomes a signal. You're present, but not needy. Calm energy becomes a magnet. You're not trying to impress, you're simply being. And the moment she says something like, "Are you always this confident? You don't seem like the type who chases women," that's not small talk. That's an invitation, a subtle way of saying, "I feel your energy. I notice your control. I'm intrigued." Conclusion: from Stoic presence to subtle persuasion. This is where Stoicism meets applied charisma. You're not suppressing your desire, you're directing it. You're not saying, "I want this now." You're saying, "I'm here. You can step in, if you're ready." And that changes the dynamic entirely. She doesn't feel pressured. She feels pulled, not by words, not by games, but by the stillness and confidence of a man who doesn't chase. Because he knows his worth. That's when she makes the move. Not because you asked, but because, in her mind, she chose it. She chose you. Conclusion: sex is not asked for, it's provoked. The truth is, if you must ask for desire, it's not desire. If you must chase love, it's not love. A man who lives in alignment doesn't pursue, he invites. Introduction: desire is not negotiated. It's inspired. Let's make one thing very clear. If you have to ask for sex, if you feel the need to negotiate for intimacy, you've already lost the frame. Because attraction, at its core, is not something you request. It's something you provoke. It's not about convincing her. It's about awakening something within her. And the moment you reduce intimacy to a favor or permission, you shift from being a man she desires to a man she merely tolerates. Core insight: attraction is energetic, not verbal. This is where most men get it wrong. They think attraction comes from asking the right question, or following the right script. But real desire is rooted in emotional energy, not words. If she's not feeling anything, no mystery, no tension, no magnetism, you can't talk her into it. If the spark isn't there, no amount of trying will light the flame. Because female desire is not logical, it's primal. emotional, instinctive. And when that emotional current is missing, what you get isn't intimacy. It's obligation. It's sympathy. It's compliance dressed up as affection. But here's the Stoic truth. You weren't born to chase. You were born to command presence. Final message. Develop masculine energy. Don't outsource it. So where does real attraction begin? It begins with you. With your presence. With your control of your emotions. With how grounded, centered, and unshakable you are, especially when you're around women. It's in your eye contact. It's in how you hold silence. It's in the fact that you don't need her validation, because you've already validated yourself. And if you're not there yet, train your mind with Stoic discipline. Train your nervous system to stay calm under pressure. Train your spirit to stop begging for things you should be attracting by who you are. Because this isn't just about sex. It's about reclaiming your inner masculine power. It's about being the kind of man who doesn't chase approval, but radiates certainty. Join the brotherhood. Build this energy from the inside out. And let her feel the fire, not because you asked for it, but because she can't ignore it. Right finger if this message resonated with you. Don't just watch in silence. Hit that like button to fuel this mission. Share it with a brother who needs to hear this truth. And if you're serious about building unshakable masculinity from the inside out, subscribe and join the movement. This isn't just a YouTube channel, it's a mindset. A brotherhood. A daily reminder to rise above the noise and reclaim your power. Stay grounded, stay focused, and I'll see you in the next one.